Welcome to Holding Court, a webcast featuring area high school basketball brought to you by the Savannah Morning News. I'm Don Heath.
And I'm Rich McGowan.
And we'll provide you with a look at some of the action coming up this weekend. We'll have a new webcast every Thursday, and don't forget to read the Savannah Morning News and check online at www.savannahnow.com every day for coverage of all your local teams. Rich, it's a pleasure to be back with you for the second season. How are your holidays?
Holidays were cold. I went home to Michigan, and within 24 hours was finding myself driving through 2 blizzards. It was just like old times. What about yourself?
I went to Florida, my friend, and
coward.
Nothing says Christmas like flip-flops and baggies.
So we had polar opposite holidays, more or less. And speaking of the holidays, before those holidays, we both saw a lot of basketball action with the Savannah Holiday Classic.
Absolutely. 4 days of basketball, 4 games every day. One of those days was the dunk contest. And the big game of that Holiday Classic was the championship game between Groves and Savannah High, won by Groves 60-57, and it was a big comeback for the Rebels, who trailed by 15 points at one time in that game. And that's setting up tonight, or Friday night's game between Groves and Savannah High, 7:30 at Groves High School. Earlier this week, I had a chance to talk with Ty Randolph about the game. Groves hasn't defeated Savannah High in 2 years at least. It's been at least six games. Did you need to clear that hurdle to get to where you want to be this year?
I'm a firm believer that to be the best, you have to be the best. And I give credit to do. They are a very good basketball team. They've been on teams in the state of Georgia for a long time. I think in order for us to go in the direction we want to go, we got to go through the good teams. And we've defeated them once, but they're still a great basketball team.
And how will Friday night be different than that night on December 22nd?
I think the emotion and the atmosphere will be even more electric. But I think the biggest thing is you got to understand it's going to be played one play at a time, especially in Golden State. It's not all going to come all for one particular play. I think the players are excited. I think the fans are definitely excited. I definitely know people don't get the credit.
You know, Don, I was at Groves the other night, and one thing I noticed is no matter what the score is, even if they're leading by 25 points, they come at you relentlessly from start to finish. I mean, no matter what the tone of the game is, when you're playing Groves, you have to be ready for 32 hard minutes of basketball.
Groves comes 12 deep at you, and that's certainly one of the strengths that they have. They also have 2 or 3 tall players, and so they're big. They can put pressure on you the entire game, and that's something that Savannah High is going to have to deal with on Friday night.
Now, you saw that championship game a couple weeks ago when these two teams met. What impressions did you take from that game, and what are you really looking for on Friday night?
Well, I was a little surprised that Savannah High was able to neutralize Groves' height. 6'3" Kyrie Wahlberg played very well in the post against the bigger trees there, and really Savannah High had the game in hand until they just stopped scoring, and Groves' pressure forced them into some turnovers and turned the game around a little bit.
Okay, and would you walk us through some other key games on the boys' side this weekend?
Yeah, Calvary and Savannah Christian are also playing on Friday night at Savannah Christian. Both teams are undefeated in sub-region play. Savannah Christian's 4-0, Calvary 3-0. And Region 3 AAA, Liberty County is at West Lawrence. Both teams are 2-0. So the winner takes first place in that.
Okay. And in a big game Saturday in Region 2 AA.
Saturday night I'll be at Benedictine. Tatnall County's 5-0 in Region 2 AA. And they're playing the Cadets, a surprising team. 6-2 overall and 2-1 in region play.
Okay.
I understand there's several key girls games in the area as well.
Absolutely, and that is led by the Calvary Day Cavaliers at Savannah Christian, the defending Class A champions. I've picked up right where they left off last season. They're 12-1, and they've won 9 games in a row. Savannah Christian, meanwhile, has had a bit of an up-and-down start. They're 4-4. They've played really well at times against the better teams that they've played so far, but against some of the lesser teams they should really sort of handle, they've played down to the level of their competition a little bit. And if they continue that trend, though, and play up to their competition, this could be a real good one against Calvary Calvary Day. I went out to Savannah Christian just the other day to talk to Coach Toy Bird about the challenge of playing the defending champions. Friday night, obviously a big game. You got the defending state champions coming in here. As a coach, do you look at this as a measuring stick kind of game to see where your team is at?
Yes, in some ways. We play them, you know, it's a great region game, and they are the state champions, and you know, I congratulate them, and I'm very excited for them. But and more than that, it's a big rivalry, and we want to win because it's our region game. But we also want to, you know, anytime we can win against Country Day or Calvary, we would, you know, we beam on those opportunities. So.
And you mentioned it is a region game, and with the region being split into sub-regions now, and only the top 4 teams make the region tournament. I mean, it's not just a rivalry game. I mean, there's a lot on the ride.
There's a lot on the line. Like I said, I've watched them play a couple of times, and they're an excellent team, and they've really worked hard to get to where they are, and we're just working hard to create a defense that's going to combat them.
Well, Calvary's got some experience with the big games. Savannah Christian's at home. Sounds like overtime to me.
You know, it could be. Savannah Christian's going to really have to limit their turnovers. However, Calvary Day will punish any team that just coughs up the ball, time after time. So if Savannah Christian can limit their turnovers, they'll definitely be in this because they have scores. Adrienne DePhillips will knock down 3, 4, 5 3-pointers a game. If you leave her open, she'll knock down even more. They also have Jessica Green and several other girls who are capable of scoring. They'll go 6, 7, 8 deep on their bench, just like Calvary. Calvary, on the other hand, even though they're the defending state champions, they might be better this year, primarily because guards Sarah Hewlett, Sunny Kennedy have really rounded out their games more than they were last year. You still have, obviously, star Katie Covington in the post, and I've been very impressed by their freshmen, Kelsey Ellis and Rachel Laguerre. These are smart, headsy freshmen, and they're only going to get better as they get more experience. So come March, Calvary could be poised for a repeat.
Yeah, I guess the key is containing Katie Covington to a certain extent.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, for all the other parts they have around her, she really is the engine that drives the machine. I mean, she's quick in the post, and what is really underrated about her, I think, is her aggressiveness to the basket is always sending her to the free throw line. I mean, every game she's shooting 10, 12, 15 free throws, and she knocks down a lot more than she makes, and that's really an under publicized part of her game.
Any other big games in the girls' slate?
Yes, absolutely. Friday, St. Vincent's travels to Brantley County, and this will be a very good barometer for where the Saints are because Brantley comes into this game undefeated and leading the region. That'll be a stiff test for St. Vincent's, to say the least. And Beach on Saturday night begins a 2-game gauntlet, so to speak, in Region 3-5A. The Bulldogs host Camden County Saturday night. 2 teams that will be in the thick of things at the end of the season atop the region. And then Tuesday, they will be facing Bradwell Institute, and those Beach, Bradwell, Camden are going to be the top 3 teams in the region. Yeah, so this is going to be a very interesting couple days for the Beach Bulldogs.
We interrupt this program for an important bulletin. You've got mail.
Before we go, we've got a couple email questions from some readers that we'd like to answer, and we always encourage feedback from readers and viewers, whether it be to articles we write in the paper or these wonderful little online projects that we do. If you have a question, you can email me at richard.mcgowan@savannahnow.com, or you can email Don at donald.heath@savannahnow.com.
Rich, our first question comes from Jennifer from the 912 in Savannah, who asks, with the first half of the season complete, who this season has been a surprise and who's been a little bit of a letdown?
A pleasant surprise for me, at least, has been the play of the Calvary Day boys. I mean, last year they were a 500, frankly mediocre ball club, but this year, I've seen them a couple times, and not only do they have star Cody Pageant, but they've really filled around him of some nice complementary players. They're off to an 8-5 start and are poised, I think at least, to challenge in what looks like to be a wide open Region 3 single A. And as for a letdown, I don't know how much of a surprise it is, but it's just, to me, it's always odd to see teams like Beach, Johnson, perennial strong teams, in a rebuilding mode. It happens to everybody, but it's unusual to see teams usually at the top of the heap, struggling like they are.
Obviously, those are young teams that are trying to find their identity. and they're going through some hard times right now.
And our second email question comes from Wayne,
Also from the 912, I understand.
who says, I'm new to the area and would like to know about the local basketball teams. Which teams make for great rivalries come Friday nights?
Well, on some Friday nights, Savannah High and Beach have probably the longest standing rivalry in the area.
Absolutely.
Just two teams that perennially been good and take a lot of pride in their basketball. And it's such a big rivalry, they don't even play it in gymnasiums, they play it at the Savannah Civic Center. Calvary, Savannah Country Day are big rivals.
Absolutely.
So those are some of the key games to watch. Of course, tomorrow night, one of our big ones is Savannah High at Grove. So that'll be a good one to see as well.
Yeah, no shortage of rivalries, that's for sure. And that is our show for this week. Thanks very much for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. We'll be right back here next Thursday, so be sure to check back to savannahnow.com/PrepCentral for another edition of Holding Court with Rich and Don. I'm Rich McGowan.
Don Heath.
For our technical producer, Jennifer Metzer, thanks very much for watching. See you out there.